how did you meet Nan? Have you told us that story?
Yeah, I probably told you. I was supplying a restaurant. I was a wholesale fruit and vegetable vehicle supplying shops and hospitals and anything like that. I used to buy stuff wholesale in the market and deliver them to them. And I'd seen her riding her bike up and down Beach Street where she lived occasionally when I was serving customers there. And I went to Summer Tea Gardens one day and I spotted her. She was waitressing in Summer Tea Gardens.
Yeah.
And Don Egler was their boss. And I said to Don, who's that lady you got, that young girl you got there? And he said, she's a Polish lady, Rosalie Puska. He said, why is that? I said, I've seen her riding that bike up and down. I said, I'd love to meet her. She was the most beautiful little thing you ever seen in your life. Couldn't speak English too good.
She wasn't that good at English.
So he says, all right, come on. I go, well, as soon as she's finished waiting all those people, I'll bring her in here and I'll introduce her. While I was delivering him his lettuce and tomatoes and potatoes and that. So he brings her over and he said to Rosalie, there's a gentleman here or there's a fella here would like to know who you are and he'd like to meet you. So he introduced me to her and that was it. And I just asked her a couple of questions. I said, you must live up Beach Street somewhere because I've seen you riding your bike and you've got a lovely pair of legs up and down Beach Street.
He was
I said, where does she live? She said, I think it's Campbell Street, up the top of Beach Street somewhere. So I said, I've got a couple of clients in there that I supply to as well. So after that, it just grew and grew and grew. I had a bit of a battle to take her out the first time.
Yeah.
She had to take her brother with her. She had to take Harry. We go to the Princess. We go to the Princess. I wanted to take bloody Harry along with me, and he was such a sponge. He always made me pay. And one day we're going to the plaza in Frankston, and I pull up out the front. I had a lovely what's the name, a Vauxhall Ute, and there was room for three of us in the front seat in those days. And we pull up outside the Frankston Theatre, and Harry gets out, and I close the door, and he said, "You coming in?" I said, "No, we go to the Pictures at Seaford." I took
tricked
off,
him.
and we went to the Pictures and left him bloody was standing there. He never really spoke. He hated me after that. Bloody English people. Don't know why the hell I got anything to do with them.
That's a good story. That's a good story.
I tricked him. I couldn't get him on my own.
Well, that's good. It's good. I like that story. The second question is, you'll like this one, Ray. What advice can you share with me about money, life, and happiness?
Advice I can give you?
Yeah, advice about...
You give me advice. I just told you. Don't be too keen on property. There's other ways of making reasonable money, but don't worry about making too much money. As long as you make enough to get by and you've got a little bit to spare, that's all you want to worry about.
Well, that's good advice.
You don't want to be the richest man in the cemetery.
And that's good advice. I like that. What about life and happiness?
Life and happiness, make sure you enjoy yourself every day and keep good company, and always think twice before you do something that's a bit risky.
Well, that's good
advice. If you think it's a bit risky, think twice about it. Is it worth the risk?
Well, you're doing much better than I thought with this. You're doing much better than I thought.
Why?
Well, you have good answers.
Well, the kids always said to me when we were going to...
You got good answers.
When we took ourselves to Russia on our own. So he said, Dad, don't do that. You can't take Mum there. Russia's a terrible country. I said, well, that'll be all right. We'll be okay. We'll be fine. We did get into a few scrapes, one way and another, but we survived.
Well, it's good.
Yeah.
So,
and as for going to Alaska, you can't go to Alaska. It's freezing cold up there. Anything could happen to you. And you made arrangements? I said, no, we'll make arrangements as we go. This is when we went to Canada and we took off for Alaska. And I bought an Alaska pass, which gave us a month in Alaska.
Yeah, nice.
But Dad, you can't take Mum up there. It's too damn cold. You're freezed up there. It was perfect with the first of spring. The sun was out for 20 hours a day.
That's
and it
good.
was lovely. We had a wonderful time.
So the third question is, what does a grandfather mean to you? What does being a grandfather mean to you?
Well, the fact that you've got such lovely people who are part of you in most respects, and you've all been successful children. Lovely to see you all successful. None of you have had any problems, only one.
Only one?
I'm not going to mention the one that has been a bit of a problem. I don't need to do that. But apart from that, all of you have been absolutely wonderful. And you've all got lovely partners, a whole lot of you.
That's good.
A whole lot of
What? And what? The fourth question is, what are you most proud of?
Most proud of?
Yeah, what are you most proud of?
Well, I'm not really proud of anything, I don't think. I've got nothing to be proud of.
You have to be proud of something. Maybe your family, or...
Well, yeah, I suppose that your grandmother and I have had a wonderful life. We couldn't have had a better life.
That's a pretty good thing to be proud of. That's pretty good.
I feel so guilty now at my age to be able to do what I can do here and live an open life, and yet my poor partner of 66 years, 67 years is there restricted.
Yeah, well...
I feel guilty every time I go and see her.
Well, you shouldn't feel guilty.
I promise to look after her till the day I die.
Well, you are. You are looking after her.
Yeah, I know.
We all think you are. Yeah, we all think you're looking after her. The last question is, how would you like to be remembered? That's a hard one. As someone really positive and happy.
Really what?
How would you like to be remembered? I don't know how to answer that one either. It's pretty hard.
Oh, I don't know, Mick. Really, I don't know how I'd like to be remembered, because I'll never know anyway. So
you won't know anyway. That's a good enough answer. You've answered the other ones pretty well.
A reasonable sort of person that, didn't complain too much.
And we'll end it on that.
Wasn't a burden to anybody. I hate being a burden to anybody. I do. I feel guilty every time somebody's got to take me out, and I've got to take the front seat, and the person who should be sitting
the front seat's the best.
To get in the back because I can't sit in the back.
What about being remembered for someone that you enjoy gardening? You like looking after the environment like that? You
do like looking after the environment.
Well, I think everybody should be like that, because you've got to realise what the world could be like if we were all the other way inclined. I've always tried to be. I've been like it since I was 8 years old. I used to grow vegetables on the railway allotment during the war. I've always wanted to do something like that.
Yeah, you like growing your vegetables.
I don't think I've ever left too many carbon footprints behind. I try and do the right thing whenever I can.
Thanks for your low emissions, Ray.
But that's all. But people say, "Oh, you're a silly old devil."